trustees, and platform guests, faculty and staff, friends and family, including those joining us today virtually, and most importantly, graduates. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Northwest College's 2021 commencement exercises. Please remain standing as graduating music major Samantha Becker of Powell, Wyoming, sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming
Please be seated. On behalf of the Northwest College Board of Trustees, I welcome you to these commencement exercises. I'm Larry Todd from Meeteetse, Wyoming, and I'm honored to serve as Vice President of the Board of Trustees. I first wish to introduce my colleagues and fellow board members. Ms. Carolyn Danko of Powell, would you please stand? Mr. Bob Newsom of Cody. Ms. Tara Kuipers of Cody. Trustees unable to attend today's ceremony are Board President Mark Wurtzel of Powell, Trustee Dustin Spomer of Powell, and Trustee John Housel of Cody. They are strong supporters of Northwest College and represent the people of Park County well. On behalf of the board, I extend our very best wishes to graduates and their families. I'll now reintroduce Northwest College Interim President Lisa Watson.
Thank you, Trustee Todd. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleagues, the college vice presidents. Dr. Jerry Gerard, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Mr. D. Havig, Vice President for Student Services. Indeed. I am also pleased to introduce to you Ms. Kay Dooley of Powell. She is the Vice Chair of Wyoming Community College Commission, and Kay and her fellow commissioners coordinate Wyoming's community colleges and advocate on their behalf. Kay Dooley. I'm going off script for 1 second just to say it does appear that we're having a few technological challenges this morning, and for that I'm sorry. Hopefully we're getting that under control. Before we continue the ceremony, please join me in a moment of silence for 4 of our members of the Northwest College family who we lost this last year. I would first like to recognize Northwest College student Annalisa Warner, who lost her life tragically last January in a car accident west of Cheyenne. A psychology major who planned to go into social work, she was an honor roll student and an active member of our community. We also experienced the untimely loss of 2 of our beloved faculty members, retired professor of psychology, Dennis Brophy, and retired professor emeritus of English, Bert Bradley. Dennis Brophy will forever be remembered in our hearts for his style, love of travel, and his unique collection of trucks. And Bert Bradley will forever hold a place in our hearts as well, as a great orator, a writer, and an instructor. Finally, we also had to say goodbye to Ralph Newell, who served on the Board of Trustees from 1992 to 2002, who also served on Northwest College's Foundation Board, and as many of you know, was an avid supporter of Northwest College athletics. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember Annalisa, Dennis, Bert, and Ralph. We dedicate this ceremony to their memory. Graduates, I have never been more proud of what you have endured this past year and to be walking here across this stage today. Come on, I see those smiles. I am proud of your accomplishments. During a time of so much uncertainty, vulnerability, and doubt, living and learning through this global pandemic and its aftermath. I am proud of your courage and your determination to finish what you started and to end this year with this degree in your hand and an open door of possibilities in front of you. Today is a landmark event in your life. It is my hope that you will look back at your time at Northwest College with fond memories. Memories of lifelong friends that you've met, the professors who gave you the very best of themselves, and the staff who were there to support you the entire way. Memories of a community built to help you succeed and eager to champion your personal and academic preparation and success. Today, we are here to celebrate you and the next step in your life's journey, whatever that may be. Well done, graduates. I am now pleased to introduce the Faculty Organization's 2021 Distinguished Faculty Service Award recipient, Mr. Dave Erickson, Professor of Sociology and Chairperson of Social Sciences in the Education Division. Mr. Erickson will speak on behalf of the faculty.
Good morning and welcome, everyone, especially to you, graduates of the class of 2020 and 2021. First, I would like to thank my fellow faculty members for honoring me with this award. I am humbled to be this year's recipient, especially when considering the outstanding faculty members who have previously received this honor. I consider myself blessed to have been mentored and guided by so many of them when I started teaching at Northwest, and I credit them with my presence here today. This past year has been a difficult one on so many levels for everyone, but for our faculty family, it has been especially heartbreaking with the tragic losses of two long-term faculty members and colleagues, retired Professor of Psychology, Dr. Dennis Brophy, who passed away in September, and retired Professor of English, Dr. Bert Bradley, who passed away in January. Thank you, President Watson, for the moment of silence recognizing those we have lost this past year. Graduates, what a couple of past years. Congratulations on making it to this day. It's ironic that a sociologist has been selected to deliver one of this year's commencement speeches in light of the historic changes which have happened over the past year and a half. I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to talk about, especially given how much life has changed since you graduates started college. In the last year, we have reframed what we now consider most important to us in life. Ultimately, I decided to focus my address on the unprecedented historic times you graduates now find yourselves in. I've been so inspired by your sacrifices, perseverance, and courage. I also have a personal connection to this message because my youngest son did not get the opportunity to walk across this stage last year when he graduated from NWC. As a parent, it was heartbreaking to see his disappointment in not getting to be where you are now. And it was scary sending him off to the University of Wyoming this last fall to continue his studies in the middle of a pandemic. Graduates, you are living in historic times and have witnessed astonishing events that will be studied and discussed for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. In the past 18 months, you've witnessed the emergence of a global pandemic, unlike anything since the Spanish flu of 1918. You saw vaccines developed in record time, and you witnessed a breach of the US Capitol, an event which had not occurred since 1814. You have viewed the first color images ever taken of the surface of Mars and watched the first drone helicopter flights on Mars. And you also grew up during the time where you had to wait 8 long years to watch all 73 episodes of Game of Thrones. When your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and maybe even great-great-grandchildren ask you about COVID-19 for a school project or just out of curiosity, what it was like living during the pandemic. Some of you will tell them that you didn't get to complete your final semester of sports or other extracurricular activities your senior year, or that you didn't get to have a prom, or that you didn't even get to have a traditional graduation to be together for one last time with your high school classmates because our nation had been placed on lockdown. You graduates who are already enrolled in college will tell them that you left for spring break and ended up finishing your first year of college online because on-campus classes were canceled for the rest of the term. I'm going to say it to you, graduates, you've been dealt an unfair hand, and that is saying it politely. You were deprived of precious moments that many of us older individuals just took for granted at the time. It is from those losses and of your many missed experiences that I draw my first inspiration from you, graduates. For me, it is a lesson in humility that I took these events for granted when I was able to participate in them. It is not that these times were unimportant to me, but rather how the simple opportunity to participate in them was taken for granted. Prior to COVID, it never crossed our minds that in modern times, our daily lives could be so altered so quickly. A second point of inspiration that you graduates have instilled in me is the perseverance you have displayed in completing your degrees during this time of uncertainty. You could have given up and decided not to go to college in the first place, or you could have stopped attending after your first year because of the changes in delivery methods, but you didn't. You were determined not to even let a global pandemic stop you from pursuing your educational goals. All of you persevered, completing your classes either online, limited face-to-face on campus, or Zoom. That took dedication and flexibility on your part. For you, graduates and faculty, from now on, when we hear the word Zoom, we will no longer think of the notion to speed away rapidly, but rather of the online software technology that allowed us to continue delivering and taking classes during the pandemic. How many hundreds of hours did we actually spend on Zoom? Non-traditional graduates, I need to recognize your perseverance too. For many of you, the challenges were even greater as you had to complete your college studies on top of helping to homeschool your children when our K through 12 schools also moved to remote learning. Many of you had to balance your computer time in your homes between your studies, your children's school needs, or sharing resources with someone who was also working from home. Throughout the nation, these challenges were responsible for many students dropping out or choosing a gap year, but you rose to the challenge and succeeded in completing your college goals. Former President Barack Obama often mentioned in his speeches the importance of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I believe you graduates, in overcoming the challenges the pandemic created and still completing your degrees, epitomizes the human potential that he was referring to. The final inspiration I have gained from you, graduates, these past semesters is your courage. When the pandemic hit our area, it was scary and it became real for us. Now we knew people who had gotten COVID or were hospitalized by it, or we knew people who tragically passed away from it. All of this uncertainty created so much fear and anxiety for us all. Fear can be crippling, and it can lead people to shut down and close doors of opportunity, but you did not allow that to happen. Your courage drove you to return to college or start college in the midst of these scary times. That is inspiring to us all. As a fellow parent going through these same difficult decisions with my son, I want to also recognize your parents, other loved ones, and partners who displayed such courage in supporting your decision to start or continue your studies when they probably would have preferred to lock you in and keep you safe at home. In closing, I hope you graduates will always remember the lesson of humility that we all learned in taking simple things for granted. Remember how special it would be to have those opportunities available to us again, whether it's going to a movie or concert, visiting someone in the hospital or a nursing home, getting together with family for the holidays, or simply being back in a college classroom or at a job site. You've already proven your perseverance by earning your degree during this chaotic time. Now, keep preserving and adapting and achieving. And finally, stay courageous as you have demonstrated these past 2 years. Keep believing in yourselves and opening those new doors of opportunity, even when they may feel out of your comfort zone. Never forget, you completed your college degree during a pandemic. You can do anything. I wish you all the best as you start your next journey.
Thank you, Dave. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2021 Distinguished Alumnus Award. This year's honored alumnus was selected by the Committee of Current and Former Faculty and Staff, members of the NWC Alumni Association Board of Trustees. Today, we are pleased to honor Curtis Claybaugh of Cheyenne, Wyoming. As a Northwest College Distinguished Alumnus, after graduating from Northwest College in 1973, Curtis Claybaugh transferred to the University of Wyoming, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in civil engineering. He began his professional work as a construction engineer with the Wyoming Department of Transportation. Promoted through various positions over his 42-year career, Claybaugh culminated his time at WYDOT as a manager of the photogrammetric and survey section. Curtis was among the first group nationally to be licensed as a professional photogrammetric surveyor, allowing Wyoming to become the first transportation department to fully implement digital surveying and mapping processes. Mr. Claybaugh also provided training and technical support to numerous states. Professionally, Mr. Claybaugh reached distinction as a member of the National Science Foundation Transportation Research Board and was granted emeritus status in 2017. Following formal retirement, Claybaugh is affiliated as a consulting engineer for ESP Associates in Cheyenne. He continues to study and lecture and write articles about, as you could guess, evolving technologies. Would Curtis's family please stand to be recognized? Curtis, if you could please come forward to address Northwest College graduates.
Thank you. Good morning. I've been put you to sleep already, have I? Good morning. Thank you. What a great time to stand up here with the most recent graduates of this institution and to welcome the people of academia, the students, their families. Tough time, it really is. While there's great joy here, there's a lot of sorrow. Some of you may have lost family members, savings are in doubt, careers are at jeopardy. Who knows where we all stand? But in this time of uncertainty, who has survived and prevailed? The group standing or sitting before me. The fact is that you've spent your time here in a very tough situation, non-traditional, you had to do it virtual, really proves something to a lot of people. As you'd heard the last speaker said, a lot of you, not this group, may have given up, decided there's something else you had to do, but you stuck with it. You persevered. and it'll serve you well in your future. When you have to struggle to get something, you'll appreciate it much more. One of the important things about going to college is often overlooked. Certainly you have your degree, and you're happy for that, but it also shows that you're willing to work to find and get and obtain your ambitions. It's also showing to me what is very important is that you have that ability to learn. Sure, you've gone through a lot of school, taken classes, but there's a lot of people who are very bright, but when they move on, they just seem to stagnate at that point. You've not done that. You're continuing to learn. Many of you will move on to future institutions and even learn more. So they asked me to relate some of my practical experiences I learned as I struggled through my career and what I did. And there's a couple things that as a graduate, you're going to seek out employment. And there's three big keys to that employers look at. Number one, your education, your experience, number two, and number three, how do you fit as a team? So your involvement in any activities and what you've done. That team chemistry will be probably the key ingredient. Stop and think about it. How many of you actually have a lot of experience to go into some sort of a job? You're going to get that when you get there. But oftentimes, you don't really know what's ahead of you, and you're not really well prepared for it because it's a whole new challenge. Education, you've got that. A great point, certainly impressive, and it helps. But that real key will be how are you going to fit the chemistry and the team of your new employer? That's going to be a real key to you. So, how did that work for me? Well, I can tell you right now, I was not a poster child of growing up and being mature. I enjoyed my school way too much. I had a very difficult time balancing my academic life with my social life. Didn't seem to hurt me, but the biggest thing is I didn't have a spectacular grade point. The most important thing about having a decent grade point was I could get a cut rate on my insurance for my car if I kept it up high enough. That was more important than practically anything. And you wanted to get your credit hours. That's obvious, so you could move ahead. But there was a lot of fun things. Probably what helped me more than anything is my parents, when I was in high school, made sure that I certainly didn't get a lot of the fun classes. I took all the science and math that was there and survived them. And I did have one big change in my life. Out of all things, we packed up and moved my sophomore year in high school here to Texas. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was starting over. But it so happened that going from a nice high school like Powell here, I moved to a high school there that there were 2,000 kids in the sophomore class. That was a shock to me. But a bigger shock, much like you going through the pandemic, it was the first year of integration in the schools. And they had bused 55 black students into the high school. That was, to me, not a big deal. Growing up here, you just didn't really think about it. But boy, was that a shock to me about social and cultural norms. A big change in my life and a real eye-opener. Was very happy to come back to Powell after a year. So, what all happened from that? Well, when I was here, I did take decent class load, obviously, and I participated in intramurals, worked a part-time job here at the college, and really expanded my pool of friends, because now there were kids I had met from all over the basin and other states, even other countries. So that was a real change. So what really happened to me here at Northwest? Well, there were some very interesting situations. I guarantee you, I hope some of them, at least one of them would happen today, but had to take calculus, and it was second semester calculus. It's probably the same today. They love to put those math classes first thing in the morning, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I would guess it's the same. You're supposed to be brighter earlier in the morning, I guess, but There were only 8 of us in there. We were all engineering students, all friends, showed up to class and decided, you know what? Why do we want to go to class today? So we all, as a group, cut class, headed right out the back door of the Orendorff building. Back then it was the administration building. Came to the student union to drink coffee for an hour before our next class. Well, the professor at that time, a person named Herb Wolsburn, which there's now a statewide math contest named for, realized what was going on. Cagey old Herb, seeing the 8 of us trucking across the little area between the building and the student union, followed us over there, got a cup of coffee, and followed us into the area we were sitting and sat down and taught class there. That's kind of embarrassing, I got to tell you, when you're sitting there with your other students, you do that, and it's very obviously not orchestrated, but we never cut class again. Never. I could tell you what he demonstrated to us and the importance of him getting us educated was enough to make a real impression on us. Now, I did have another impression, and I told you I wasn't a model student. I also got a trip to the dean's office my sophomore year, and that's because I was part of probably one of the greatest things ever to happen at this institution that was not particularly a proud moment for some of us, but we decided we'd have a panty raid, something probably unheard of today, on the girls' dormitory. And we did that. And it turned into a monstrous water fight. When it was all done, obviously a lot of the female students ratted us all out as to who was there. A lot of their undergarments were ran up all the flagpoles around campus. That was kind of funny. But even more funny was there was a large elk head, antlers, in the student union, and there was quite a few of the undergarments hanging from the antlers of that. So how did that turn out at the end? Well, after they sized up the bill, there were about 40 of us, and we had to divvy up the cost of that and pay for the cleanup, and then basically give a blood oath that we would not do that again under the threat of or else, which was good enough for us. We took it at that. So there were fun times, and there were other things that happened here. But all these things kind of prepared me for later in life. Didn't realize it at the time. So I eventually graduated here after my 2 years and went down to the University of Wyoming, got in the civil engineering program, finished up with that, and unfortunately, when I graduated, maybe what might be today also, it was really hard finding a job. I sent out numerous resumes, did job interviews, and I was sweating bullets because there was nothing happening. And I wasn't alone. That was pretty common. But luckily, I got a job offer just a few weeks before I graduated, and I snapped it up. Took it. It turned out to be a great career move. I was just so happy. But as I started that job, something clicked. I have no idea exactly what it was, but I think it was a relief of getting that. And I realized I needed to start making some changes, just sort of skating along, doing what I had done and having a lot of fun was okay. But now I was in competition again with where you were in college with other kids from other towns. Now it was who you were at work, and I don't know what it was. Probably all that prep work that my parents had done, how the faculty had molded me, all those experiences. But I thought, you know, I've got to change and get a little bit more serious and try and balance my fun with my social life a lot better. Unfortunately, or fortunately, guess what happens? You're out of college, you get that first paycheck, and you now have more money than you ever did when you were a student. Guess what? You can have more fun, but I don't know what happened. Something clicked, and I decided that I need to put a part of that away to buy a house and buy furniture. The old beanbag chair had no longer cutting it, and I needed to change to something else, so I did that and managed to advance my career. And the reason being, I think I was a good team player. That's where a real gem came to me at a national conference I was at, but the headhunters were there. And they were friends of mine because I'd been in the business about 35 years at that point. And they decided to have a roundtable discussion or a panel where like 8 companies sat in front of a group of students like you who are seeking employment and just sort of expand on what was going on, how things worked, and what was going to be in front of them. Not knowing how that would go, one of the people on that committee said, "Curtis, would you sit in the crowd, and if things lagged down, would you ask questions or try and spark any interest?" And I said, "Sure, be happy to." And as you could imagine, a lot of shy students with these people up there, and there were probably about 60 kids in there. It was pretty quiet, so I asked the question, as an employer, what are you looking for the most if I take a job with you? And prior to that, there was always a discussion about your salary, your benefits, why we're a good company, those kind of things. Everybody wants to know. But guess what? That's all about you. That group of people kind of lost that friendly look on their face and went into a pretty sober mode and said, "What's most important to us is how you perform those first 2 years right out of the gate." Because that's where they're really sizing you up as a new employee to determine how much investment they want to make in you. Oftentimes, after that first 2 years, some companies have incubator groups that they'll take out to select students. So coming and taking a job where the first thing you do is say, I'll show up on time, I'll work hard, and I'll go home and I'll be a good person there, isn't enough. It just truly isn't enough. You've got to separate yourself from the other people there. Best way to do that is volunteer. Obviously, be a good member of your team, but be involved in your community, your church, other social organizations. When things come along at work, be a volunteer. I could tell you, after serving on numerous committees and one thing somebody's going to ask, in particular if you're new, is who will take notes? And nobody wants to do it, but that's where you can separate yourself and get some recognition for yourself. Because they do want to incubate you for the future, and that's where you're making your big impression, those first couple of years. But it's pretty hard. You've got money, you may be starting a family. I'm not saying put your job ahead of your own life, but certainly strike a good balance of what you're doing. Being just a good hard worker is not enough. So after that, and one of the ways you can do that also, continue your education, any type of education. I was fortunate enough that I realized that I wanted to also become a professional surveyor. So I took a lot of classes far after graduation and kept going, and that actually made my career. For many of you, just stay into something. Do something that will set you aside. It could be that you're an engineering major. Well, I can tell you, engineers don't learn a whole hell of a lot about business. So maybe go take a business class or something like that, but stay involved, be involved in your community, be a contributor. What you find out by doing that, there's an awful lot of people out there that are good mentors. Surround yourself by those good people. Realizing that as you grow older, make sure that you give back to your fellow students and other people and be a good mentor to them. It's amazing the network you can build and how much easier and fun your job will be just by the friends and network you can build, professionally and socially. So your career path is often set for you, but that's how you truly advance it. One of the things you ought to do is also always honor your peers and honor your fellow people who have brought you along. Unfortunately for me, when I started here, it was 50 years ago, finished 48 years ago. There's not a lot of people for me to honor who are still alive, but there were some real people that made big changes in my life, and I'd like to point those out. And some are vintage names, a few of them are even still alive, but the math teachers, Herb Olsburn and Dave Skinner, were very big for me. Winifred Waston, the English teacher, one of the finest teachers I've ever met in my life. Don Fisher and John Inger, pretty well handled the engineering classes. Pretty well gone, names you've not heard. Sometimes you might recognize them on a plaque around here or a building name. And ironically, this is an unusual speaking situation for me. I never speak to just a crowd. I always have visual graphics behind me and I do PowerPoints. But the lady who kind of got me through that the first time was Charlotte Patrick, who is still a part of this institution here. And lastly, I'd be really remiss not to mention one person that had a big impact on me, but that was Dick Claybaugh. My father was also an associate dean here at the college. So with that all being said, congratulations, graduates and now fellow alums, and thank you, Northwest, for this honor you give me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. I am pleased to introduce at this time our very own Devin Curtis, a graduating general studies student from Powell, Wyoming, and member of this year's Student Senate. Devin will speak on behalf of the students.
Good morning. Welcome, guests, alumni, staff, and most importantly, my fellow NWC graduates. If you don't already know me, my name is Devin Curtis, and I'm from right here in Powell, Wyoming, and I'm currently graduating as a general studies major. I would first like to start off by congratulating the graduating class of 2021. It's been a pretty crazy year for us all. Some have even said it's been historic. I mean, can you believe that after 20 seasons, they finally canceled Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Okay, we may have had a few other things going on that could actually qualify on the crazy scale, what with the global pandemic and all. But hey, we made it. There are sure a whole lot of schools around the country that did not get to sit in a gymnasium this year for a graduation ceremony, but here we are. And we are now one step closer to going out into the world with nothing but opportunity to make a difference. That is, of course, as long as you are okay making a difference from 6 feet away while wearing a mask. But I digress. The fact is, we have all put a lot of hard work, late nights, and maybe even some tears into achieving the right to sit here together and receive our diplomas, having gained some valuable skills to help us become productive citizens and successful adults. In the words of the great Robert Orban, a graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells thousands of students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is the key to success. Okay, I'm not quite sure how great Robert Orban is, but that quote sure resonated with me. Anyway, one of the most important lessons I've learned from my time here at Northwest is that you can only get out of life what you are willing to put into it. I once heard a saying that has truly stuck with me, which is, the happiest people in life don't have the best of everything, they just make the best of everything. The same is true of our experiences here at Northwest College. At least it has sure proven that way for me. I literally would not trade my time here for anything. There's no question that NWC is not the biggest or fanciest college out there by any means, or even the biggest and fanciest college in little old Wyoming. But when you really stop and think about it, Northwest is a pretty special place for so many reasons. NWC is a place where you can be anything you want to be and become anything you set your mind to. It's a place where severely introverted kids like me, who used to be scared to make their own doctor's appointments, okay, even worse, afraid to order my own food at McDonald's, can somehow end up standing in front of hundreds of people at a graduation ceremony to give a speech. The opportunities to grow, for those that take advantage of them, are truly endless. In my time at Northwest, I've played for the Trapper volleyball team, worked as a resident assistant in the residence halls as both a freshman and a sophomore, worked for student activities, served as a sophomore representative for Student Senate, and pretty much taken every opportunity possible to be involved in things on campus. Because of this, I don't walk 5 feet on campus without seeing someone that I know and stopping to say hi. No wonder I was usually late to class. Again, I digress. This college has truly provided me with so many opportunities to grow and even flourish. A question that I get asked quite frequently is, why did you decide to stay and go to school in Powell when you already live here? Don't you want to get out? This is a question that I've thought a lot about, and in return, I usually say community. The feeling of community both on campus and in this town is something that you don't find in many places. The professors, staff, administration, and the entire NWC family always want what's best for you, and they will do literally anything they can to help you be successful, a quality that is simply not found in many colleges. I came to Northwest fully planning on only staying for 1 year to play volleyball and then transferring to a university. But when that time came, I found myself not being quite ready to let go of NWC just yet. And the reason why is the people. The friendships I've gained and the relationships I've built. I'm gonna miss this place. In conclusion, your college experience and your life are determined by what you put into them. You can't expect to have fun if you lock yourself in your dorm room all the time and never leave. So current students, go out, invest in the community that is trying so hard to invest in you, and I promise you will have the best 2 years of your life here at Northwest College. And finally, NWC graduates, go out, make your mark on this world, and show them what Northwest College is made of. Congrats, graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin. This year, we are proud to recognize a student who, excuse me, who earned an All-American Wyoming Academic Team Award from Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, the International Honor Society for two-year colleges. Graduating sophomore Sierra Sinclair, can you please join me on the platform to accept your award? Sierra is a graduating sophomore who majors in political science and is from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Sierra, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and Northwest College community, congratulations on receiving this very impressive statewide award.
Our congratulations to Curtis Claybaugh on his Distinguished Alumnus Award. I thank Dave Erickson for his early remarks on behalf of the faculty as the 2021 Distinguished Faculty Service Award recipient and for serving as Chief Marshal for today's ceremony. A special thank you to our student speaker, Devin Curtis. My thanks to Samantha Becker for performing our national anthem. Graduates, please rise and remain standing until after President Watson confers your degrees. President Watson and Trustee Todd, students assembled here today are candidates for degrees of Associate Arts, Associate of Science, Associate of Applied Science, and Northwest College certificates. We are very proud of them. On behalf of the faculty, I am pleased to recommend these students for their respective degrees and certificates. I present to you the class of 2021.
Upon certification by the faculty and by the power vested in me by the Northwest College Board of Trustees, I take great pride in conferring upon you the Associate of Arts degree, the Associate of Science degree, and the Associate of Applied Science degree or certificate.
Live.
You may now move your tassels to the left. Graduate 2021, welcome to a very distinguished
We have no
the alumni of Northwest Community College. Congratulations! You may be seated. Vice Presidents Gerard and Havig will now read the names of graduates as they come to the platform. Graduates will be greeted as they walk onto the platform by Elaine DeBure, Chairperson of Humanities and Visual and Performing Arts Division, and assisted off the platform by Mr. Bob Becker, Chairperson of Agriculture, Business, Communications, and Equine Division. Members of the Board of Trustees will present graduates with their diplomas. Will the first row of graduates please come forward and approach the platform? Right up there by Tarbert, Bob.
Kira Bullinger. Isaac Bullinger. Alicia Wentz. Alexandra Livingston. Jordan Vasquez. Rachel Hallman. Jaden Cash. Sierra Sinclair, Honors Phi Theta Kappa. Devin Curtis. Ruby Woods. Bosan Abendiva. Galina Hassanova. Honors Phi Theta Kappa. Tair Masharapov, Honors Phi Theta Kappa. Nathan Nias, Honors Phi Theta Kappa. Amber McDougall. Joshua Herman. Madison Redinger. Kevin Johnston. Sunny Hoops, Phi Theta Kappa. Amira Khan, Honors. Kenna Oliver. Gage Hunt, Honors, Phi Theta Kappa. Michaela Norman, Honors. Caitlin Long, Honors, Phi Theta Kappa. Amanda Owens, Honors, Phi Theta Kappa. Alyssa Welch, Honors. Shiley Hunter. Naomi Sims. Javier Mendoza, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Megan Dawson, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Shantae Peterson, honors. Margaret Arzuga. Janae Reinhardt, honors. Casey Mangus. Philip Weaver, honors. Shelby Tarter, honors. Riley Iono. Jerome Mabry. Jacob Schilder, honors. Sharon Hodges, honors. Cody Tarr, honors. Annie Seaman, Phi Beta Kappa. Cindy Anderson, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Kelly Agard, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Mason Smith, honors. John Class, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Cynthia Bonstark, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Alexis Dela Cruz. Alicia Gallagher, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Jordan Walsh, honors. Christina Vlasic, honors. Austin Spurlock. Cora Heron. Brittany Day, honors. Eileen Olson, honors. Catlin McKenzie. Alexandra Sheffield, honors. Abigail Cubbage, honors.
All that hand cranking and ice crazy, right?
Dominic Johnson. Bryce Hill. Emily Schrock, honors. Ann Harder, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Casey Mann, honors. Karen O'Hara, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Summer Delamater. Miranda Wambecki, honors. Dalton McMillan, honors. Courtney Geck, honors. Jasmine Collingwood and John. Barbara Kissel, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Riwa Ohashi, Phi Theta Kappa. Vladimir Senakov, honors Phi Theta Kappa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Manami Sugiyami, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Gulsum Gultaken, honors. Brooke Leidhold, honors. Riley Wright, honors. Charmaine Fleming, honors. Tracell Jolly, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Jamie Dahlman. Congratulations. Landon Lucas, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Tiffany Miller.
Congratulations, good work.
Isaac Stanworth. Caitlin Stanworth, honors. Lane Randall, honors. Sully Ann Quenches, honors. Ariane Josco, honors Phi Theta Kappa. Lauren Swan.
Frost. Samantha Schupman. Samuel Schupman, honors. Shayla Schupman.
Samuel Schupman, honors. Shayla Schupman. Joseph Schneider.
Martin Gonzalez. Joshua Moore. Candace Searle. Georgia Victor.
Aaron Hansen.
Travis
Lyle.
Dawson Barfus. Natalie Osterwell. Molly Crum, honors. Dawson Bender. Jordan Hansen. Coleman. Theodore Smith, honors. Phi Theta Kappa.
Gracie Andrews.
Tamiki Blackwood. Honors. Phi Theta Kappa. Frank Minchell. Joshua Garza, honors. Kendall Garza, honors. Linda Deere.
Julia Minor.
Ryota Nakamura. Haruki Yamazaki, honors. Phi Kappa. Taisei Goto, honors. Phi Theta Kappa. Maya Ono, honors. Sarah Clausen. Catherine Blevins, honors. Phi Theta Kappa. Autumn Romero.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
Class of 2021.
Graduates, on behalf of Northwest College Board of Trustees, please accept our congratulations on receiving your your family, friends, and other loved ones. To all of you who have helped and supported these graduates, we offer a very heartfelt thank you. In closing, please join us on the lawn after the ceremony for well wishes, goodbyes, and photo opportunities with your friends and loved ones who were able to attend today. Thank you all for joining us in this special occasion. Please remain standing during the recessional, and graduates will follow the platform party to exit the building. Well done, all.